brand new. So cool. Since we, Daphne, great point, right? There's so many great articles on design. And when we go in, oh, I didn't realize I'm not on my slides. We'll show you that it's quickly accessible right from within Canva, which is awesome. So you don't really have to go hunting for it, which I love. So coming back, if it's okay with everybody, I thought tonight we can kind of do two things. We'll start with the template, and just because I love them, and maybe because I'm trying not to act as old as I am, I love the Instagram interactive story templates. And I know we often see them in Instagram stories, but we've used them, Erin and I have used them on Twitter, or even they could be great props or provocations when you're in your Google Classrooms, or if you're wanting to wrap up the year. Daphne, kids is a perfect piece, a perfect question. So I went and reread their terms of agreement because Canva has a very unique line in their terms of agreement. So Canva says that you need to be 13 to use their tool or be supervised by an adult, and that an educator counts as an adult. So for you guys in high school, you're definitely, terms of agreement wise, you're safe, you're good to go. I know some tools are 16 and 18, so it was really nice to see that they put that 13 piece in, and that adult supervision is okay. Now with the educator accounts, I'm not sure, unfortunately, because like I said, I'm not attached to a school yet till next year. So I'm not sure if with the educator accounts, they get you connected. But having that piece in their terms of agreement is great. I haven't, with the searching, I haven't seen anything off, but yeah, we used it with, at Applewood with grad food courses. The food course kids made their ads for their food items through Canva. And it was pretty interesting. A lot of them had already used it. So then we got really into more, what's the feel of what you're trying to advertise? Erin, it was one of those weird things because you have to get the approval. It's not like a typical kind of educator account. So I do have a back into appeal school in the fall. You can definitely, if you want to go to the website now, we're just going to go over a few pieces that we're going to chat about, and then we'll just get in and get creating. So if you haven't, logged in yet, that's great. Just for those that haven't joined or participated in an Appy hour before, we just use the chat box. We talk a bit, we try something, and then we chat and we share ideas and we help each other out. So that's kind of how it's going to go. So I tried to stay pure and make our slides in Canva tonight. And I had to use the new ones with the stickers because I haven't done that before. This is when you know you have a problem. So for me, I think Canva was the first piece that really got me into design. And I learned so much just by using their templates. So I think sometimes it can be overwhelming when we're trying to create different pieces. And we often say those slide tools are great design tools. Google Slides, Keynote, maybe PowerPoint. But I think I learned a lot of the pieces that I use now by using some of the Canva design templates. And I think sometimes, thanks, Sharon. I try to stay young at heart and keep learning. But yeah, so I've used Canva for everything under the sun. Like we said, we used it with kids when they were designing their food ads. I've used it for advertisements for a lot of our Twitter chats in the past. You can see there in the middle that About Me is one of those story templates where we kind of posted it as a way to get different responses because not everybody wants to jump in. Use it a lot for posters and provocations, and I found over time, some of them seem simple, but having those quick tools in Canva, like the arrows and the frames, just allows me to quickly edit and get what I'm looking for. For those people in Peel, all of Empowering Modern Learners, all of the resources were actually created in Canva. So you can go, I know a lot of times we see that individual poster or image, but the sky's the limit. And then like Catherine was saying, in the middle there, it's kind of hiding in the back. We worked on an infographic for 10 books and bytes, which was just 12 books and bytes. It's good that I remember how many days. And we were able to link all of those books to the actual recordings. So it was a great way to curate and put those links in. So I think if you've used Canva for a while, you probably think of it more as a visual tool, but you can now create those videos and those interactive pieces. So teams, coming back to your piece, Wendy, Canva does allow you to create by yourself, and you can always share and co-create with others. You'll never be able to design at the exact same time like Google Docs, because with design items, where you put things is important. So you'll always see that somebody else is working on it, but you can take turns and share a document. Teams is more when you have shared documents and you want that collective. Now at the moment, I can't really do many teams because I don't have the upgrade, but I think that is available in the education upgrade, the free education upgrade, which again, for yourself, Wendy, with your staff, again, if you're working with a yearbook committee and you wanted them to design different pieces, it will just give you that team element. Every school board is slightly different. So again, yeah, especially with design things, because when we're trying to change colors or move fonts, you don't want two people to be doing that at the same time. It's always best to double check with your board. Again, I read through the terms of agreement, and it's very rare that we see 13 as a terms of agreement and that we see adult supervision explicitly stated in the terms of agreement. So most school boards have a little bit of a flow chart. So just double check with it. But yeah, the terms of agreement say 13, or if under 13, they need adult supervision, which could be a guardian or another supervisory adult, and they put in brackets teacher, which is really awesome because we don't often see that with terms of agreement. Okay, so tonight, and you may have seen the bingo card that we made. Tonight we want to look at a few things, and I know some people are brand new to Canva, so we'll start with the templates. We're going to look at how we can personalize those templates, change it up. So something like this was a slide template, but the grid wasn't there, so just easily bringing that in. We're going to also look at bringing in, specifically looking at some of the photo tools that we could use to help us out, and we'll do that when we're starting from scratch. We'll look at how we can share our creations. There's ways to download, but also other options. And then we're going to look at some of those quick hacks, some little pieces, and I'd love for those people that have used it, if you want to share some of your tips and tricks. For me, it's grouping. Opacity is a big one, playing with some of that. And then we want to make sure we just touch base and show you where you can get that educator upgrade, if that makes sense. So I think that's our the other slide we'll come back to. So if we're all okay to get started, I'll just take you in and take you for a quick tour, and then we'll get to that template and get started. Okay, so when you first come to Canva, it takes you to that recommended page. You can tell I do a lot of social media posts. They have so many different templates, everything from bookmarks to logos. So many pieces you can kind of tap into for yourself or for students. Again, yearbooks, there's complete layouts, books, so many pieces. So for me, I go to my designs, and that brings me to all of my designs that I have. So at any time I can come back in, I can edit, I can duplicate, and I can change them up. But we're going to create a new design. So up in the top right-hand corner, we see that Create a Design button. And then when we create a design, we have to choose what we're looking for. Again, you can choose anything. I think for us tonight, because we're just going to get started, learn the tools of the different tools that we have access to, I'm going to use an Instagram story template. Feel free to choose another. Some of them are a bit more elaborate, like a presentation, but the desktop wallpaper would be an easy one to start with. The Instagram story would be an easy one we can start with. Same with an Instagram post. Instagram post is just a square, so any social media post would be kind of cool that way. So let me know when you've gotten in. No need to choose a template yet. We'll kind of talk through that. And I'll give you a second or two. Just let me know in the chat when you're good to go. Interesting, Michelle. Are you on the? So another little trick then, if you're not seeing both, it could just be that I've searched it more often. So in the middle, if you search, you should get some different pop-ups there. They group in different ways, and especially on this page, it will give you all of the templates kind of laid out, but I can go blank and I'll still get the templates along the side. Okay, perfect. Sometimes when they're testing things out, we just don't all see it due to the betas. Cool. Awesome. Okay, so I love Instagram stories because they're templates that ask for engagement. So for me, I wanted to put a little Instagram story out on Twitter saying what are 5 apps you can't live without. So just being a picture that they could then edit, and we could kind of see the collection that's out there. So to do that, there's a variety of different templates. Now they've tried to group them for me so that I don't have to look through all of them. This is one of the biggest things when you're using templates. I know a friend was looking to do something, and she just DM'd me and asked what are like 3 templates that you would suggest, because there are a lot of them. So using those headings are really handy. So I know that quiz Instagram story is kind of what I'm going for. It's not really a quiz, but it's interactive. So I can take it from here and kind of decide what I want. Now, if you choose a template from the left-hand side and don't like it, because this one doesn't quite match what I'm looking for, you can always just click on another one and it will replace it. So you have that option. So never feel like you're married to a template. But yeah, you could just start with the templates and never design from scratch. And you'd always end up with a lot of different options. So just let us know when you found a template that you like. Or maybe I'll give you a couple more pieces and then you guys can just drop into the chat the questions that are popping up. Now to change anything on your page, just double tap and you're in the edit. So mine's not top 5 things you can't live without. It's, man, I'm not even very creative. That's almost the same. What are 5 apps you can't live without? Don't feel very creative today, but that's okay. So that looks good. I don't want that template made by Canva on the bottom. So maybe we'll just say Appy hour. We don't have a hashtag, but we'll call it Wednesday Appy hour. So we're really easily able to get in there and edit. Just let me know if you're good if you found a template that you're enjoying, and we're going to change this one up some more. The Instagram story templates are a great place to go if you're looking for check-ins, if you're looking even for a discussion starter, if you're looking for a visual to share for families, if you're in the library or in administration. Great question for where their templates come from. So some of their templates are free, and every now and then you'll see a paid template. They don't take your creations, as far as I know. I've never seen them do it. They have designers that work on it. So it's kind of a design community. So they, photographers will submit their work and you pay for it, and things like that, if that makes sense. Sorry, Aaron. Multitasking with dinner, we can't really help with. So question sticker is because they're thinking we're using this on Instagram. So if you use it in Instagram story, there's actually a question box and you can put that right on top. So they're trying to make it easier because I'm using mine on Twitter. So I'm not, I can delete that. To delete, it's really simple. Just click on an object, hit the delete button, and it's gone. Notice up top, you have your undo button, so you can change that up at any time. All right, just making sure I haven't missed any questions. Cool. So I like this design, but I'm not loving the color choices. I do like blue, but it's not feeling like me. So a couple things that I would change in this template is looking at the fonts and looking at the colors. I maybe would even change the background. So for our menu of objects on the page, we're just going to click on an object and then we get that toolbar. You've seen that a couple times in different apps. So for me, I'm actually going to look at the font on the bottom and see what it is. It's called Now Bold. Now I'm actually going to look up Now, because sometimes I find out that there's actually multiple versions of the same font. That means my fonts will look like they belong together. Again, Canva has amazing blog posts that talk about which fonts could go together, but this one's kind of hard to read, especially if it's on Twitter and they're reading through their profile. So I think I'm going to choose one of those Now fonts, and I probably want it to be bold so that it really stands out. I'm going to change this one to the regular one because I don't need that to stand out as much. So I'm noticing color-wise, I like how Canva is teaching me that I kind of have opposing colors on opposite sides, but I'm not loving those colors. So if I click on an object, this is where I get my color swatch. Now, did I show everybody the colors website? There's so many color swatches and color options out there. When we're in Canva, we're going to see a couple different things. So we're going to see that we have a color wheel where we can drop in our color codes. I also have the colors that are in my document. So if I'm adding a text box or changing something up, I can choose those colors. And then I have kind of a set of default colors so that I can play with those and explore kind of what they look like. I like their default colors because I know they all go together well. So if you're a little scared with colors and it feels a little overwhelming, they're a great place to kind of start off with, but you don't have to. I'm going to show two more things because you guys are always really great folks. So if I wanted to add some more to this, so right now I'm asking about apps and there's not one device on here. So I think that visual prompt would help people know that I'm asking something techie. So I can go to elements, and elements are anything that you're adding to your page. So shapes, arrows, grids if you're doing a yearbook or a collage. The stickers are in there as well. So many different pieces. I love using the search box because it makes it easier for me. I'm gonna look for an iPad. I should have probably looked for an iPhone. And this is where you're gonna see, Alinka, to your point, we're gonna see that little crown for the pro or the free options. So I'm gonna drop that in. And I'm just gonna kind of drop these around. Now, right now the pink doesn't match, so I'm gonna go get one of the colors we're using. And then I may drop the transparency. I'll do that again. Because I just want them to be kind of floating around, and I want them to be behind my title. So I'm just gonna rotate these around till I'm happy. Maybe I'll put one. And this is when you realize I spend way too much time designing things on Canva. But I know there's some people like me on here, so you can definitely just go with the templates if you're happy with them. Sometimes personalizing it just gives you a little bit more. So I'm using my shift button to choose all my objects. We've done that before. And in my position, I'm going to send them to the back because I want them behind the words. And then I'm going to click on them. I shouldn't have sent them to the back, sorry. I'm going to do this first. I'm going to click on it, and I have this little, so you have a little roller, and beside the roller you have kind of a grid. That changes your transparency of objects. So especially for something like this, I don't want it to ever distract from the words. So I'm just going to make sure that I'll lower them. And if my brain was working tonight, I would have done that before I copy and pasted them. Or I could have shown you the group, but we'll do that next time to show you the quicker way. And then we can send them to the back. So there I've taken a basic template and I've jazzed it up a little bit. We may not think it's that jazzy, but I've jazzed it up a little bit and used colors that maybe have to do with something we're talking about. If it's a book, we can match it to the book cover. If it's our school colors, there's so many possibilities there. All right, how are your templates coming? Let us know in the comments. Do you have questions? I don't know if we've shown anything new to the template folks. Maybe they've already explored all those pieces before. I'm going to show one thing for those people that have used Canva before. If you're new to Canva, just keep exploring, keep playing. For those that have been using Canva before, these are the stickers they just added. So if you do want something interactive in your piece, and stickers are still new to me. So your stickers can come in. This isn't the best one. It doesn't really match my colors, but that's okay. So they're just little animated GIFs. You can also import your own GIFs. So when we did Brush Ninja, if you wanted to bring them into your page, and it will actually allow you then to download it as a video or a GIF. Yeah. So if you wanted to use your own photos, your photos are all under uploads along the left-hand side. So when I go to uploads, I'll see pictures I've brought in myself, or I grab these from Unsplash. And then when I bring it in, it should automatically drop it to the back. Nope. Let's see here. This background is being funky. Wheat doesn't really make sense here, but just for our our purposes, it should let you bring it in. So yeah, so anytime you upload a picture, it will be added to your collection, and you can access that picture over time. So that's where sometimes I'll have symbols I use a lot that I can put them in. But yeah, we'll do another piece with a quote with a picture for sure, because we want to look at some of the picture options. Oh, stickers. So stickers are in Elements. Just going to close this off for a second so you can see. And it's underneath your frames. And I'm starting to cut out. Oh no. Okay, hopefully it doesn't cut out on us. So Erin, I am lazy sometimes. There are plugins if you go to more, and Canva's worked with some different companies like Pixabay for Creative Commons images. I just often download them as I'm on the site. Yeah, so it's just your account with your uploads that will have any of your creations and any of the pictures that you have uploaded into your collection. All right, let us know. Is everybody able to create their story template? GIFs, GIFs, GIFs. Am I saying it right now? I said GIFs again. Woo! Cyril, I haven't seen an opportunity to import fonts with the free version. I believe that's limited to Pro. Again, there is an Educator Pro account. Yeah, the plugins are great. Even something as simple as emojis, and then it comes as your toolbar. So if you're a big emoji user, or for you, Erin, mine didn't work. So see if you can get it to work, but there was a Bitmoji add-on. So you can just drop those in. So the emoji one is probably the one I use the most. Even YouTube. GIF, GIF, GIF. I just have to keep saying GIF, and eventually I'll get it. Oh, that's awesome. So that's what I love the templates for. When I'm wanting something quick, I want something cool, and I can kind of tweak it. So there's lots of ways to explore there. Okay, I'm going to show you how to download. For those people that are new, we're going to show you how we get this off the computer and into our creations. And then we will show you where the learner upgrade is, just in case these guys do break open. And we'll also then get into creating from scratch, looking at photos and some of those elements. Okay, one last thing for the avid users, the folks that have used Canva before, the last option on the left-hand side of your menu says more, and there's different plugins that you can activate. So I put my emoji option here so that I can get emojis into my creation. And it works perfectly for my color scheme. Okay, so if you haven't used it for a while, the download options have kind of been increased over time. The share button is really more when you want to share with a group and you want them to be able to edit. Any other time, you're really looking at the download option. So when I click on download, it's going to give me different options. So when you look at the options, the difference between a PNG and a JPEG is really just how big of a file you want and how you're sharing it. So to be honest, I usually go with PNGs unless I'm trying to email it to somebody, because then the JPEG may be easier. Same with your PDF standard and your PDF print. So if I was printing posters for classroom norms that we co-created, I may want to do the high quality just so that it prints better. And again, if you are sticker users, you're going to see you may have had that video and GIF option that you can tap into. So I'm just going to go PNG. Notice up here you can change the file name. It will go based on the template name. So 5 apps is what I'm going to call it. Now, I always forget, so you guys are probably better than I am. But remember to change the name before you download, because if not, you're looking for that template name and you won't remember. So that's one of those pieces. Yeah, PNG will allow a transparent background as well. And Canva has that built into the Pro account. I keep saying the Pro account, I've never had one. But yeah, so they have some of those pieces there. So let's just grab some of those questions people asked about. Sorry, didn't mean for I have it set to automatically pop up. One piece I just want to show, because we may not get to it tonight, but our slides tonight, when we looked at our slides, you can see I'm not actually in the Canva browser. I'm not in the edit view. So to do that, when I was creating, I published mine to web. So for, let me just open it here so you can see. I think it's a great option if you're looking at slides, if you're looking for something a bit cleaner for a presentation, if you're looking for something different, or you just have some kids that want something different. I know Slides Carnival is one we often look at. But you can see here, I use the website option on the slides, presentations. And then within the website option, I actually had different ways to take these designs and share them as an actual link. So just be aware that those pieces are out there, especially if you're designing more interactive pieces with links and the links. Okay, coming back to our questions and our different pieces. Okay. Change font colors. So yeah, anything with your font, just double click in your text box, and you get that toolbar along the top. We didn't look at all the options. Sorry, the letter there has our colors. We have our orientation, of course. This guy here will change all your letters to uppercase or lowercase at the same time. There's usually a couple other pieces hiding in there, like our link option. One of the coolest pieces, and this is one of the design tips for those guys. I've never used this before, so maybe other people have. So I can copy the style, whatever my style font is here, and I can click on another text box and apply the exact same formatting. So if I was doing a poster or a yearbook page, I keep going back to yearbook. I don't know why I'm obsessed with a yearbook today. But think about the grid and the bingo. I did the formatting on one. I don't want to have to highlight the text and change them all. So I can just click, use that little roller to do that. Okay, I'll show you again. So up here on the top, I have the roller. So I've already edited the font here. So I need to get rid of that. So I'm going to copy it, this font, and then I just click on another text box and it will apply all of that formatting. Yeah, Jeff, you can save something in multiple formats for sure, share in multiple formats. So especially things like that infographic we showed you, we downloaded it as a PDF, but I also downloaded it as a picture because I wanted to be able for people to see it when they were on Twitter. But then I shared the link to the website when I tweeted it out because I wanted them to just be able to get it right there and not have to host it anywhere. So yeah, anything you create, you can download multiple times. You can tweak it. You can even copy pages. So sometimes I'll make multiple versions of something and just send it out like this till people decide and then delete the different editions. So for example, this postcard here that I created for my job right now, you see the English and French, but originally there were 3 different designs. So the file just updates and holds all of those changes. Ah, there you go. So yeah, those windows online sometimes are a bit harder. Okay, I'll show you the animation. It's already in there, so you're gonna. I wasn't very cool. Again, picture-wise, you can look in Elements. You'll find a lot. You can bring your own in. And you can also search for pictures that are already part of the program. Okay, so how to download again? So two ways you can download, Loretta. So I can download actually from this page right here. I could, because I forgot to download it, so I could just click on the 3 dots and look for download. Or if I'm in my creation, I can hit the download button, and then I'll get my different options. And I just hit download, and it will save based on the same name that you have on your screen. So if you've already downloaded it before, it will become 5apps1.pdf. Julie, there used to be a way to do profiles. I'll have to tweet Canva and ask if they took that away, because I had a bunch of maker ed provocations, and I just usually posted them to a public page and people could copy them and remix them. But I can't find that now. Okay, I'm going to go home. It is getting dark here. Let's hope this doesn't kick us off. So before we forget, we wanted to make sure everybody knew how to submit for the upgrade. So if you go to pricing up here on the top, a couple things. We have home, we have templates, so we can kind of see all the different options there. So notice you even have under templates, certificates, Zoom backgrounds, concept maps, mind maps. So super, they're always adding new things. Under Discover, they're kind of showing you different products. Learn is really cool. So this is where they have tutorials helping you learn design. Some great possibilities for media literacy. And then your pricing. So when you click on pricing, you're going to see education. And if you click on education, you just come in to register. So you have to fill out a little form and apply for an account. And it just asks you a few questions to kind of get that upgrade. So this is brand new. I've used Canva now for about 7 or 8 years, I guess. And I think this only came up in the last 12 months or so. Michelle, the download options shouldn't change. They will try to send you to the one that they think is most appropriate for what you're designing. So for example, if you do a poster, it will default to PDF, but you should always be able to get those options. The thing that you may see that's different is the additional options. So you might have noticed that I didn't have the website option when I was in Instagram stories, because that's not really going to be making a presentation, but I still had a link option. So look for those symbols to kind of see if that can help. Natasha, I wonder why that happened. We'll have to play with that a bit. Julie, my understanding with the upgrade is you get access to more of the paid images. So there's a wealth of Creative Commons or full, let me open it back up here so we can see. Sorry about that. I want the drop down. Let's go to run. So when you go to, so the other way, you don't worry about if you're not seeing it under pricing, because I just lost mine too, Jennifer. Just go to Canva Education, and the page should pop up. It should take you straight to that page that asks you for the details. So no worries if you can't find it. Just Google Google the options. I would use your Sharon around what email? I would probably use my pdsb.net email, my Peel Google account. They'll send you updates, so it's really up to you where you want those updates to come. But it's probably the place. Most of the time with these education accounts, they want you to use a school email. And coming back to Julie, So you're getting different templates, different ideas for the classroom. Did I miss the part where they said all of the other pictures? Oh, now I can't find it. You get access to more of the images and pieces like that. So you get some of those pro features without paying a pro for a pro account. There you go. 2 million images, 800,000 icons. So we don't get all of those right now. A link I'm really hoping that they added on. That's my hope because they're looking at that email. But again, when I did it, it's very specific. So it wasn't just the email address, you needed to have a location. So I kind of got stuck there. Okay, cool. All right. So we have 20 more minutes to go. So let's try to create one from scratch this time. So I'm just going back to my Canva homepage. If you're in a window, just click the home button in the top left-hand corner. We'll download again to show you how to download. So if you got stuck on that the last time, this guy is doing something funky over here. So I'm just hoping that it doesn't, the sun's back out. Weird times. Okay, so this time around, I just want to do a quote from Mae Jemison that has been sitting on my counter forever. So I'm actually going to just create a square because maybe I think I want to post it on social media as a provocation. And there's proof and research that people interact with visuals more than if it's just a text-based tweet. So if you're connecting with families, connecting with students, having that visual can just be that provocation that kind of gets them going. I don't want a story, sorry. Create a design. I want a post. And again, the Instagram post is just a square, so I don't need to just use it on Instagram. You're just really looking at those dimensions. This is a good time to say though, if you guys are doing something really cool, at any time you can make a new design with your own dimensions. So if you're designing a poster that you're going to send to a printer, if you're designing a banner, if you're designing a header for your Google Classroom and you want that specific sizing, you can do that. So I like my page. Now, she was an astronaut, and her quote's about art and sciences coming together. So I want a basic background. I don't want anything too colorful, but we're going to try a picture first because I just want to show you some of the picture options. So if I go to upload, I'm going to see if I have a half decent picture here that we could play with. Okay, and this is, I can't take credit, this is a kid's picture actually. Now usually it goes to the whole background, so I don't know why it's being finicky today, but that's okay. This is actually a cool picture to use with a quote because it kind of does have that feel of science and art coming together. So it could work for me. But to put a quote on a picture this busy wouldn't really work. So that's why it's their tools for photo editing are amazing in here. So it's all built in. So I can go into effects, and effects will give you really, think of changing the whole feel of a picture. So I can come in here and give it a marmalade approach. So you can kind of see like that changed the picture completely. These duotones are kind of nice because they're just giving us that 2-color piece of a picture. So I kind of like that because that would make a better background. It won't be as distracting. Now I do also have options under filters, and I can still adjust. So something like this, it's pretty, for me to put text on this, I need it to either be darker or lighter. So I'm actually going to take that brightness down and just make it a little darker. I don't really need them to see what the background is. Kind of looks very artsy right now. And I can even play around with some of those tints if I wanted to kind of change what kind of the color tones are. So you have a lot of options right within here to be tweaking those colors. For For example, a lot of times I'll make the background picture black and white so that it just kind of helps with that. To edit your picture at any time, you can crop, which just gets us, changes our design and the edges. I can also flip, and flipping is just helpful because sometimes you need the focus to be on a different side. But that's a speedy version of our pictures. Like I said, I don't know if I really want a picture as a background. So I can go to backgrounds and also see if there's one here that I like. And again, look on the bottom, just double check that it's free. If it's not a free option, you'll get a Canva kind of watermark on top. So it's really easy to kind of pinpoint. So I'm gonna get this gradient, kind of like that. That looks good. Now, for me, for the quote, I want some real strong text. I think I kind of want to, I don't know if they'll all know that Mae Jemison was an astronaut. So I want something on there spacey, but I also want it to just be like a watermark. So I'm going to go into my elements. Again, your elements are all of the pieces. All of the pieces that you can bring in. So for example, I could have a frame here. If we were celebrating somebody in particular, if I'm creating a card for someone. And if I was creating a card for someone, to Jennifer's question, I can go up to my uploads. I would hit this blue button here, and I could choose one of my images. Just hoping, there you go. So it will upload into your collection and it will stay in your collection. So if you ever need to use it again, you can always delete it from your collection because it is taking up space. So there's the picture. And that's how I could bring my picture in. Does that make sense, Jennifer? Jeff, I'm wondering if you could just use your email account. That would be proof of employment. I'll DM Canva and see if we can get some details, and I'll make sure to follow up when I send you guys the recording tomorrow. See if we can get some more details for that. Sorry about that, guys. Jennifer, to this point though, notice how my picture doesn't really stand out against those colors. So a couple of things I could do. In elements, I may go get a circle. Oh, that looks really funny. And I may make that a white circle there. And I'm going to put that behind. So I'm going to send it back. That's a little too big. But notice how that little shadow makes my picture now pop. So it gives me a chance to kind of really outline it. Now that being said, I could have done some really fancy stuff with different shapes. There's different frames that kind of have that color on it. So lots of possibilities there to kind of explore. Okay, I'll double check with Canva and we'll see. I don't want you guys to have to give too much information though. So it didn't automatically, great point. I maybe did that a little too fast. So I'll go through those steps again because it doesn't automatically reshape my pictures, but in my elements, so I'm on my elements. Elements is anything you're adding to a page. You have all those sticker options, but I also have something called frames. Frames are holders for my pictures. And if I see all, you're gonna see there's lots of different shapes you can choose from. So even using the computer there, and then I can come to my uploads and I just drop my image in. Now within this holder, I can always double click so that I can position it just right and do that check mark to be happy with it. So the frames are what reshape your pictures for you so that you can have it be exactly as you like. Jeffrey, I've honestly only ever used the free account. There's so much in here that I find that I've never kind of reached my maximum, except for the fact that my storage is almost full. So yeah, it's a little bit of a different piece. Michelle, don't let me forget. I'll answer that question about QR code generator before we're done. Okay, so let me go back, and we're going to delete these guys, and I'm going to go look for a rocket ship. So in Elements, that's where we have the frames, the yearbook pieces, or if you're doing a collage, you're going to look for the grids. Our grids are those collections for colors or for pictures. You also have charts, so a great infographic option. And I love these gradient ones. They're some of my favorites. But I just want to look for something to do with space. So I'm going to do, I don't know how, I think, let's look for rocket, just because it's an easier word sometimes to pop up. And I'm looking for a free option. And I also don't want something that's really too bold. I do kind of like this one, and I think it would work because if I change the color, the opacity, it could just blend into the background. The black is way too harsh though, so I'm going to pick white, and I'm going to come into my transparency and make that kind of just blend in back there. Now I could also go get, see if I can find, because the rocket ship alone may not give that space feel. I'll put that really far in the background. And this is where that positioning really comes in handy, because we can put it behind. And I'm going to change that transparency as well, because I don't really want it to stand out too much. I don't love that, but I'm going to go with it. I know I wish you could just filter for free options. I haven't found that, but if somebody else has, let me know. Now these two objects, I don't want to have to keep moving them by individually. So I can click on an object and click on a second object and group them. Now these objects move together, and I can also resize them together. So it's a really important piece if you're getting into a lot of these designs from scratch. So it can allow you to explore that way. If you're posting to Twitter, you want to download as an image. I usually do PNGs, but either of the two image options are fine, JPEG or PNG. PDFs you would have to host somewhere. So they're only great if you're emailing or if you're putting them on a website. I'm trying to think. You could store them on Google Drive for sure. But yeah, for Twitter, I usually do that image because I want them to see it right away. And then I could come in with my text and I could add my quote in. And every time we do these, I think we have so much time, and then I realize we always end up running out. So I probably would tweak this design for a little bit longer. I'm feeling like it's a little too simple at this point. I may put a little border in. I'm not loving that background just yet, so I maybe would have put it on the bottom. But you get that idea of how you can either use the templates as a starting point or how you can kind of start creating on your own. So, fix my creativity. Thanks for catching that. There we go. Yeah, not loving this design. I'll redo it, and in our update tomorrow, you'll see whatever whatever comes back. So maybe we could all make our versions of this. We should have done that. Would have loved to see what everybody came up with. My understanding, no, we've used Canva on Chromebooks. So it's not Flash-based as far as I know. I haven't really had issues with that. But yeah. Another piece with text, as you can kind of see here on the side, I'm going to take these guys out because they're kind of stressing me out. So in Elements, I'm going to take this off. And maybe we would look for a frame to kind of frame it. There we go. Those monoline elements kind of look cool. Something like this looks interesting. Goes more with the bold colors there. And I would maybe even take it off the screen, so it kind of just gets the corners. And again, I'm very sorry if you end up spending hours. It's a little addictive, and I apologize in advance. You can get carried away. Just recognizing the time. You can put something together for any quote, but I can share the quote on Twitter if I think it'd be kind of cool to see what we all come up with, but you guys probably all have cool quotes that you want to tackle. And I'm realizing I think I forgot to reply to some folks in emails from the last week, so I'm sorry about that. Drop any other questions. I know we're coming to our last minute, so I just want to say thank you guys so much for all of our Appy hours. It's been lots of fun. We will be doing a rainbow photo walk next week. I don't know how it will work, but we'll post it around the same time, 5:30-ish, and I'll be checking in throughout the night if you have questions or want to show off your creations. Again, not 100% sure how we're going to do it, but we're going to see. So stay tuned to that. I can send it as if folks want the reminder. And then let me know if you've liked this format. I don't know. I know it's easier since we're all with COVID to be kind of hanging out and chatting. But in the fall, would you want to continue? We could do once a month instead of every week. We could get other folks. We could share the lead if people wanted to. We could chat. Whatever works for you. All right, so I'll send a reminder next week about our photo walk again. It will be more informal, and I'm going to set it up that if you wanted to take your kids, so Erin, you can grab and drag them with you if you wanted, so that people can do it as a family or however you want to kind of explore. All right, so we'll definitely look at it in the fall then. And if the photo walk works next week, we could use that kind of more informal format for people through the summer. I just know with the great weather and all of that jazz, it's a bit harder for everybody to kind of get on at the same time. Oh, Corinne, you'll have to share those with us. Okay, so once you download your, we had a couple questions there. Okay, yeah. So for those that are mentioning, and I feel really bad because I know I'm tweeting big groups. So I'll send you a reminder through those same Twitter channels. If you don't want the reminder, feel free to leave the group. It's okay. Jeffrey, I'm sorry. It is fun. It's a good calming. To me, this is my calming activity. So I'll definitely post the video of this. Again, I'll take off the banter other than my other mess ups. And we'll post that tomorrow, and I'll post it to those DMs so you have that. And next week we'll do the photo walk. I think it will be a video clip just for a YouTube video for the intro, and then there may be some little quick tips on Twitter to help you as you go through. Just coming back to the questions. If you do want to take this and now put it into Instagram stories, do I still have my 5 apps open? Or this one for, well, that's not a very good example. I know there was that question. So here's my piece. When I go to download, again, just download one of the image files. And if it's on your device, when you swipe up for Instagram stories, you'll be able to choose it from your last 24 hours. I can make a little clip if that helps, but once you have it on your camera roll, you're good to go. There is a lot to explore, so give yourself permission with Canva that it's okay to use the templates. Again, a prompt for Twitter, an image, a quote, a postcard, like Natasha was talking about, creating a little visual to share with students. I don't know if you can combine accounts. That's a great question. I haven't seen that possibility yet. But Canva is really great. Whenever I've sent them a message, they're pretty quick to respond. Just trying to see if I missed any questions. I'm glad these have been helpful. I know I've enjoyed them. We can just recap the ads we've done so far. There's lots of great ones out there too, like CoSpaces. This morning I was making videos on Scratch for some friends to help kids with coding games. Daphne, I'll tweet out the quote if anybody does want to do that, and we can see what our different visualizations look like. Awesome. So the recording, if you got a DM tonight, a DM reminder, I'll send it in those DMs. If you didn't, feel free to send me a DM and I'll pass it along that way. If not, I'll post it to my Twitter feed in the morning. I always say morning. I'm always longer. So let's say tomorrow night. We don't really have as much to curate unless, like Julie mentioned, I could grab some of those samples if you wanted to remix some of the posters. I have the photography ones from the library session. So if there's some of those that you kind of just want to play around with remixing, let me know. I can do that too. I missed Michelle's question. Yeah, so if your sticker, if your design has a moving object, you want to download it as a video or a GIF, because those will be the only two options that will preserve that movement. If not, it will just make it a flat image. Because PNG and JPEG file types will only read it as an image, so you lose that movement. So you have to choose the video, which will save it with the extension MP4, which again, you can share to Instagram stories or to Twitter, or the GIF option, which would only work if you're sharing on Twitter. Instagram doesn't let you post your own GIFs. I didn't say GIF, I think. Whew, that's only taking a while. Thank you guys so much for joining tonight. Hope everybody stays safe.